This is Groundeffected. My name is your dad, and today, for whatever reason, we're painting Kill Team Typhon. But for this, I'm going to actually need a nerd to help me paint this many models, and for that, I'm going to need a Frankie. Yeah, you can just hold it like it's your baby. And this is a Frankie.
And I've joined Groundeffected.
Because I have always wanted to paint miniatures, but obviously I have become a bigger painting channel, as well as all the other things that I do with my model making. I really don't have much time to do miniature stuff, but I still really like it, and so he is going to be our resident expert in miniature stuff.
As most of you are probably aware, Groundeffected doesn't really do Warhammer in the conventional way. Instead, he flies them about or burns them, which isn't very useful. So today, I thought we could paint a Kill Team box to try and give you an entry to the actual game. Something more manageable, smaller to paint, and we'll see how it goes from there.
Is there fire involved?
Optional.
Okay, but Frankie, what the heck is a Kill Team?
Well, let me tell you.
I just want to say I've been wearing the same shirt for a couple of days, and it smells like actual bum.
Don't ruin the illusion. Kill Team is a skirmish game based in the Warhammer 40,000 universe, meaning that you can use your miniatures from this game in your full-scale armies in Warhammer 40k. It is fast-paced and you only need a handful of miniatures for each side when playing this game. You'll be fighting for objectives rather than massive battles between massed armies. A set like this one normally contains 2 forces, which is around 10 models each. In this case, we've got 10 on the Adeptis Mechanics side, and then we've got 15 for our Tyranids. You'll also be supplied with a bunch of terrain, a rulebook on how to play, some tokens, and some data cards so you know exactly what your models do. This is a fast-paced, easy to pick up game that I think if you're a bit intimidated by the large-scale games of Warhammer 40k, this is a really good entry point into that kind of world.
So in this box of miniature army men, there is a couple of teams. And by a couple, what I mean is actually 2. And of those 2 teams, one is a bunch of cockroaches, and the other are cool people with robot arms and stuff. And so I'm going to choose the cool people with robot arms and stuff.
I've chosen to paint the Tyranid half of this box. Not only do I already collect Tyranids, but I think they're much better than the cockroaches that your dad thinks they look like. They're just generally really quite awesome, and they look really fun to paint. This team includes 5 Raveners, which are brand new sculpts, which I'm really excited about because the old Ravener sculpts are kind of old now, and these new ones are super dynamic and each one looks like a character. Super duper excited about that. We've also got 10 Hormagaunts and 1 base of Rippers. However, I decided to bring 2 extra Ripper swarms due to the fact that I still haven't painted them for my Leviathan box set.
Now, of course, there are a couple of options when you build these models. And the most important thing that I noticed is that these are humans with robot attachments to them, which means that they are going to have humanly function. So I made sure that one of the members of my team had at least one hand so he could help wipe everybody's bums after they go to the toilet. I also made sure that one of them was carrying a lunchbox, because of course you cannot go plundering without your lunch. The next thing we have is the Octopi Tentacle Man, who is very good at picking up the rubbish from the battlefield. That's because he has all these little pickers on his arms to pick up stuff like a litter picker.
It is pretty windy, but where you implying doing it indoors?
Well, I would, but people are looking at us.
So the fact that I've apparently been banned from using the airbrush does cause a little bit of an issue. It means that it's going to be a bit slower, but fortunately the vast majority of my miniature painting career has been with a brush. So I'm prepared for the challenge. I think I'm going to be okay with doing this. As I only had 1 day to paint all of these Tyranids, I went for what I knew would work, and that is to apply a bunch of contrast paint to get the skin to a colour that I'm happy with, and then go back and dry brush over the top with some nice bone colour using the Artist Opus brushes. This is my first time using these dry brushes, and I've got to say, I love them. They come out so smooth. If you want to get your own, there'll be a link in the description down below. They're truly awesome, and it really allows me to make quick progress by using simple but effective techniques like relying on contrast paints and dry brushing.
So I've done all of the base coating and dry brushing for the skin areas of my Tyranids, and then over here, how much have we got done?
1, 2.5 models. So Frankie and I obviously have two different prerogatives when it comes to making these models. I just want to put them together and enjoy the part of building them and making them do something stupid. But I can't do that because we're playing a game. So I'm still going to take my time putting them together because I actually really enjoy the building side of making these models. The painting is just this cherry on the top. So obviously painting this many models is not an easy task in of itself. So I'm going to approach this a little bit differently to what I would normally do. And I'm going to do a dry brush over most of this. That is because these guys are metallic little robot men that need to look like they are made of metallic. And so I'm going to dry brush it because it's way easier and way less effort than painting each individual little part. Normally, I would paint each individual part, but obviously I need to get this done as quickly as possible. That is obviously the whole point of a kill team, is to be able to get to the game a lot quicker than building an entire army and painting 400,000 miniatures.
I decided to start with the skin and the carapace of these models first because they're the largest areas. If I can get those out of the way, it's going to feel like a big weight off my shoulders straight away. And then after that, it's lots of little wins. Little things are going to be accomplished quicker, kind of leading to this snowball effect where you just end up feeling like you're achieving loads in a short period of time. And that is how you can get through these long kind of paint sessions that do feel like they're going on forever and do take their toll a little bit. Small wins like that can really help your mindset to get to the end, and that is exactly the method I used for this paint challenge.
So how much progress have you made since we last saw what you were doing?
Painted what?
Good. Let's have a look at him.
This is gonna take too long.
The whole point of doing the kill team box was that it's quicker than painting a full 40k.
Yeah, but it's a waste of time. Just make it shoot fire.
Okay, glad to know that this experiment is going well.
This video was sponsored by Groundeffected Studios. That's right, I have a studio which sponsored this video. It's not really a sponsor because technically I'm not paying myself, but don't worry about it. I want to tell you about my Patreon. This is a place where you can support whatever we do. Your support on Patreon helps to keep the lights blinding my eyeballs and now Frankie's eyeballs too, but that is not the only reason why you would want to support. There are many things that would make you want to support, namely you get discounts on your merch. You get a full list of all the paints that I use in every single video. I've recently started listing those so you can print it out and go to the hobby shop and find the ones that you need because you have a list. That's freaking fantastic. But more fantastic than that is our new model, which is Pennybell. This is a model that we're going to be releasing this month, but that's not where it ends because we're going to be releasing a model every single month that you can paint and print for yourself. But with those models, there will be extra content as well. There would be no point in having a Patreon releasing models if there weren't extra content. So if you want more content, more Groundeffected, more of this in your face, go check out the link in the description and join my Patreon to support the Groundeffected cause. Now, annoyingly, I am always seeing amazingly painted models on my Instagram and across social media, so obviously my initial reaction is to paint these things as amazingly as I can. Unfortunately for me though, after attempting to sort of paint one slightly to a better level, I ended up realizing that I was never going to be done if I did this. I needed to paint this like an army painting machine. Which is annoying for me. Very annoying and hurts my feelings just a little bit. Now we are already this far into the video and Frankie is definitely ahead of me, and I feel like this is maybe because this guy has done a lot more army painting than I've ever done. The most I've ever done is paint a couple of Space Marines because I thought they were cool. And at this point I'm definitely struggling with the fact of painting like it is a production line because I don't production line anything.
Well, what's wrong?
This decal, so where's my decal set gone now? Now I've even lost. They have like this tiny little like half checker thing going all the way around the dude, right?
Yep.
So, and on the other dude's forehead, which I'm gonna be honest was the worst thing you can ever put onto anything in your life. But I did it, and I was quite happy with that. Thank God he didn't need it around the bottom. But this guy, freaking Darth Vader over here in the red outfit, needs all the way around the bottom and on his hood. And the only piece that I have left is this big.
Well, so you don't have enough.
They don't put enough. So then I thought, okay, I will change the story and I'll put black ones. Because they give you a short little black one, and I'll put a little black. The length of the one that they give you, there's two sizes. One's slightly bigger and one's slightly smaller. So even if you try to put it across the bottom of your guy, you didn't have enough to go all the way around the bottom. So you'd have to have small ones on this side and big ones on that side and nothing for his head.
Okay, I have an idea. As an Orc player, I'm very familiar with their transfer sheets. They have a lot of checkers. What if you checked an Orc box and try and get some checkers from that?
I have an Orc box right here because I was going to make one of these things into a remote control thingy.
Oh, the Death Copters.
Well, we won't talk about it because then they'll get excited. Ta-da! You can't actually see it though because it's white, so this is part of my problem. But even this length is actually better because it's longer.
So you can trim it two sides.
Yeah, but never mind that. Like, imagine if that thing they gave you was just the right freaking length so that I could put it on my model!
Problem solved?
No! I'm angry!
So, as you can see, I am now done. However, over here on this side, we are lacking a little bit. We're going to see what he's able to do, see if he can pull it out of the bag on time.
So, as it was getting relatively late, I decided to go home and leave your dad to paint his models. And sure enough, he managed to get them complete. Unfortunately, I did forget that I needed to paint all of the Tyranid terrain, so that's what I had to do when I got home. And then when I came in the next morning, I was ready to play. Having read through the rules, I realised somebody had allowed a buffoon in the shop.
Excuse me, sorry, excuse me, yeah, yes.
Some plastic, more models to paint, more shelf space to take up. And if one falls off in place, it won't matter because I can just print another. 3D printer goes brr, bop, brr, bop, brr. Pour in the resin, load up the slice. My name's your dad. I bet your mom would think that's nice. My web palette and drop by some water. I don't use no filters. Put out my paints and pick the right colors, cause I'ma make a sick video and then everyone will think I'm super cool.
And so you have made it to the end of yet another Groundeffected video. I hope this video, although different, was a little bit fun for you while you sat on the toilet. Please don't forget to wash your hands, and when you're done with that, you might as well go and click subscribe, because we're so close to 100,000. I know I keep saying it, but just click the button, damn it. Also, I want to say a massive thank you to my Patreons. Of course, without the Patreons, none of this nonsense would even be possible in the first place. So, a massive thank you to those guys. And of course, this is the part of the video where I get to tell you that if you didn't like anything you saw, well then you probably should just f*** off.